Alex here, checking in from Louisville. We just made it here in the airport. We are going to take you guys on a little adventure to the drag dealer show where we can see all the new products that all the companies are releasing. S&S, Custom Dynamics, Olin's, all the fun brands. So come along and we'll check it out tomorrow. All right, we're back. We made it. Walking to the event right now. It is solid 3 degrees. Severe weather warning. And they already canceled my flight home, but Summer was on it, got us figured out. So here is beautiful city, Louisville. Check back in once we're inside and finally in the warmth. Gosh, it's cold. Good morning. Okay, let's go find the... There he is, dude.
Yeah. There he is. What are you doing? Here's the training.
Good luck. Yeah. Yeah, cool. You're the one send me on the vlog. Just got eyes on the new drag bike that they built. Kodlin put it together. We're gonna go check it out. Kind of excited to see it. Figurati, the guys that were just over at the shop with their dipsticks, that's on the bike. So let's go check it out. There's that Kodlin intake. This thing is sweet. Oh, they got some lindels on there too. Oh no, those are Kodlin. I didn't know Kodlin made some black rotors now. Look at that. That's Legends. There's that cover. Ken Manzo, I know you're watching this. That's what I was trying to show you last year. Now we can see it on a bike. Crash and drop trees. This thing's cool. Here we got a FXR blue chain, 13 spokes, pretty neat. Okay.
And we have 3 different designs for the M8 Softails, and then we just launched a new design for touring bikes.
Really?
So
Yeah, I saw it on there.
The cover bike.
I thought it was the lindels for a second because I was like, I didn't know anyone else making black rotors.
Yep, and the difference is, number one, with ours you can use any brake pad you want. Stock, SBS, EBC, whatever is your preference, right?
Uh-huh.
That's number one. Number two, our black is in the material. So it's not a coating, it's in the material. So this is Len's bike, and he was riding him for, what, 3,000 miles about? So that's how they look like after 3,000 miles. So you see a wear, of course, right? Because there's a brake pad and there's friction. but they do stay black. They're just more of a shiny black.
So any pad you can use.
Any pad.
And do you offer them in the different sizes too? Do you have them at 13, 14?
We don't have 13s now.
It's 12 and a half
And
is the
that's-
biggest?
Yeah, and that's common, probably, but the relationship with SBS is still very new, so we're trying to figure out what we're going to do next.
Those are really cool.
Thank you. 3 different designs. Like this one is a different design. It's more dedicated towards the bagger, right, the touring bike. And this guy here has about 400 miles on it. We just tested it a little bit. And then we have this design here, which is a 10-spoke. We have a 7-spoke, which is my favorite. And then there's also a 9-spoke. And then,
Okay.
of course, we have them in polish, too.
What was there a particular brake pad that works best with them, or?
We say SBS because they're our partners, right? But,
Yeah.
reality is whatever your preference is on brake pads. Works.
Organics or any of them, it doesn't really matter. That's
You,
cool.
SBS has a boost here too, so they can get you more on the technical side of the brake
Yeah.
pads, right? But we tell everybody it doesn't really matter.
I've been waiting for someone to come out with that because the Lindels are great, but you sacrifice some performance on them.
Yes, you do.
And when people want to build a performance bike, like we try to do, they look
Yeah.
great.
They do.
Are you guys going to be doing different colors, or do you know?
Maybe down the road. It's not blind right now, but it doesn't say we won't.
Yeah.
But on the performance side, that was for us very important. When we teamed up with SBS, we told them we want to do black. We want to make sure they look black, they stay black, and also they need to perform. We didn't like the whole compromise of taking a weaker brake pad to
Yeah.
make the performance rotor work. That's kind of an odd thing for us. So they do really well.
Yeah. And I like these mirrors too.
Yeah, we just launched those. So that's our first design. We got them in that matte black, the gloss, and then the chrome version. And every billet part that we make is now also available in the gloss. Yeah, that's ugly, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's a whole clean look in the rear. And then on these guys, then we got the turn on the brake function. So we have this version also with a different frame. If you want to have the additional lights on the back.
That's cool. Yeah, when I last year when we came, and I saw this and a couple other pieces for the new bikes, because you guys were making them for the covers. Immediately called one of the guys, and he's like, "Oh, I want it," and he ended up getting that, and then something else, but it's held up great. He really loves it. And then that monster of an intake. Yeah, these are cool. Oh, these are the different ones.
Well, this is a regular NXL, the first generation, without
Yeah.
the inlay, right?
Okay.
So we still offer them, of course, but then we have part numbers for the other ones that are separate from these.
that allow you for all
And
the
then
power
also the
code.
footback, same thing. We have the inlay for those.
So all these ones,
Yep.
not this exact one, but the new ones you can pull apart and powder coat
Exactly.
and match all the colors.
I mean, you can take these apart if you don't like the inlay plate.
Yeah.
You take these apart and powder the base, right?
yeah.
But the other one gives you even more flexibility on that.
These are cool.
So one thing that's not on the radar a lot is that you might get a trike someday that needs a reverse motor rebuild. These guys have it.
Really?
It's in our catalog. It's right there.
You gotta take videos of whatever you want.
Real douche in Utah.
Hey, I'm good with it. Look at this.
Go right to the middle of
Battery
nowhere,
cable.
you'll find us.
You know how many times I could have used that on my chopper?
Perfect. You're familiar with
I
that.
broke like 2 of them. Justin had to pull it out before
sell the
pulling
whole
out.
kit.
That's home for us. So we
So factory replacement, but then this makes installing batteries way easier.
Yeah.
It's just a better cable.
Can you tell me a little bit more about your new caliper?
Our race series radio mount calipers, our newest caliper design. It features what we call our arc piston.
Uh-huh.
So it actually has a crown cut to it, whereas traditionally you wouldn't see these little scallop cuts in it.
Yeah.
The reason we do that is to allow for better heat transfer. So when that's bearing up against the pad, it's got airspace between it. So as it's running down the road, it cools a lot better. So call that our advanced radiant cooling. It's also an oversized piston compared to what the old style was. It uses a large brake pad that actually came from our 6-piston caliper. So a lot of surface area, and combined with that that new arc piston, it sports about 20% better braking performance over an OEM caliper. So what does that translate to? It's like, say you're going 60 miles an hour down the highway, just mash on the brakes. It's going to stop about 10 to 12 feet short.
Do they offer in 108 and 100?
Yeah, so we currently are only offering it in 108.
Okay.
But we do have different spacing kits and adaptive brackets
For like the new.
for the newer. Oh, everything that's not the new 100 millimeter inverted front end. But everything else we have something for it.
Are you gonna be doing more of the white in like other covers and stuff like that? Because that white is.
Yeah, so
It's cool.
That is probably the one we get the most questions on. The white caliper, it is hard to keep on the shelves.
Yeah.
We sell them as fast as we can make them.
Yeah, the STs would look, or like the Fast Johnny.
Yeah,
That'd be sweet.
like that's the one for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one seems to be the best one. The next one, we also offer it in red. That one is usually
Really?
the second best motor. But yeah, gray and then black is our fourth color to round it out. But as of right now, we're only doing that caliper specifically in white. But if demand increases, we could be offering the like the race series covers in white. I think anything's an option.
How are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good. We do a lot of like V-Twin stuff. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the V-Twin things?
Yeah, absolutely. So this one we got what we call Radius X. This is the auto clutch that drops into the stock components, stock inner hub, stock pressure plate. It's a really easy install. Have you ever ridden with the auto clutch before?
I haven't, no. I've sold a few of them, but
yeah. So
and it's always like a fun game where it's like, no, let it out. And then,
the places where it really hits is like densely populated areas. They're going 10 miles, but it takes them 2 hours. Those guys love it, right? Because they're not constantly having to pull in the clutch lever, find neutral when they're coming to a stop or anything like that. So that's where the auto clutch really hits. And then on this side, we got the full Apex system. So this is a traditional manual clutch where you still got to use your clutch lever like normal.
we do a lot of these. We focus a lot on like performance and like doing higher horsepower builds. Why would someone? Because usually a clutch is like an afterthought once we do a 132 or 136 or something like that. Why is this important to get when you're doing that?
Yeah, great question. So basically the clutch is what gets that power to the rear wheel. And so a lot of people, like you said, it's an afterthought for them, but it really should be the first thing that they think about after they build a motor. Because if you build a motor and you have a clutch that's not transferring the torque, what's the motor for?
Yeah.
Right? So with the M8s, it's actually, like you're pointing out, the 131s, 132s, or any of that, it's really easy to get them above that 140 foot-pound mark now. Doesn't take that much compared to like the twin cams. First thing that starts to break on the OEM clutch is the baskets. The baskets will start to crack, especially when you get above that 140 foot-pounds. So clutch basket's really number one, because that's what is going to cause a grenade inside their primary. So the clutch basket, but then the reason why ours is different is your typical clutch pack is going to be about 9 friction plates. With the Apex, we take it to 17. So what that does is, the best way to describe it is if you dyno at the crank, you get one number. You dyno at the rear wheel, there's always a loss, right? It's not 1-to-1. Well, the clutch, when you increase the amount of plates in there, you gain more of that loss back. And so that's why we call it torque drive, as it's transferring more torque, because there's less slip in the clutch. Because the clutch has inherently got to slip a little bit, but by adding more plates in there, you get less slip and more power to the rear wheel. And with the Apex, we line the inner hub with steel pins. So these are fixed pins here. we line the basket with steel sleeves, so you don't notch the basket, you won't notch the hub, and we start and end with a steel plate, so you don't wear the flange of the hub or the flange of the pressure plate. So these are no longer wear components. It's just your clutch pack. Over time, as you wear out your clutch pack, all you got to worry about is replacing this and your pressure plate springs. Those are really the only wear components after you put this in there. And then out of the box, depending on what springs, we have a couple different sets of springs in there. So you can do everything from a stock motor all the way up to about 200 foot-pounds of torque. Not a lot of guys get there. We do have some guys that are above it, and we do have springs that can handle that. You just got to call us, but out of the box, it's good for up to 200 foot-pounds.
So we're putting together a build right now where a gentleman has a stage 2 Trask, and we're going to be doing a 143.
Okay.
And so we are trying to get up over the 200 mark.
Yep.
What things should we look out for, and what should he look out for?
Basket one, I'm sure he's going to do a full system.
Yeah.
Right? So if he does get over that 200 foot-pound mark, just give us a call. We'll get you the right pressure plate springs, because this will handle it, but he needs stiffer springs.
Okay.
So he will need stiffer springs. But even with those stiffer springs, it'll only still be about 20-25% stiffer than stock. So it's not god-awful. It's not like a Hercules clutch. So you can still have a decent clutch lever feel, even though he's got that kind of power.
So for some of the bikes that we're getting over the 140, is it 100% necessary every time to do a basket, or can we get away with doing the plates?
At a minimum, the basket. Because the basket is what is going to break.
Okay.
And it won't do it right away, but, and the guys that are really easy on the clutch, they can get away with it for a lot longer. But if you got guys that are launching from the stoplights or racing their buddies, that's what's going to hurt the clutch. And then the compensators, I'm sure you guys have seen. Yeah, the compensators are always a pain as well. So compensator and basket, I'd say the two most important things when you get above that 140 foot-pound mark.
Cool.
Yeah.
We really pride ourselves in making our components here in the United States. I know there's been a lot of tariff talk. The one thing that's been interesting about the tariffs for us, and I think that kind of goes unspoken out there, is how much it's really affected the smaller guys that have been producing stuff here in the United States. Without a doubt, we've seen a huge increase of, there's been business coming back from overseas that's put a direct effect on us, because we don't buy the kind of quantities that the automotive world does, whether it's a certain component, maybe it's materials. So we definitely dealt with some struggles earlier on this year with getting some supply. I think that's kind of been ironed out now. We ride what we sell, and a lot of the development of the products that we come out with are due to getting out and riding and finding improvements that are needed out there, and that's where a lot of the product line comes from. If we're going to come out with a product, it's really something that we feel is needed, and it's an improvement, and it's something that it is a good addition and an option out there for your customer base.
Talk to some S&S. I want to look at these cases. I was just saying hi.
Hi.
Hey, Scott.
What's happening, Alex?
He has a 2019 Road Glide Special, and we are doing a 143 build.
Okay.
And
4.5 by 4.5.
He'll be running the Stage 2 Assault Turbo, and we want to. And I know it's kind of a tall ask, but we're trying to push 200 reliable.
Oh, you should, with the turbo on it?
Yeah.
Oh, you should have no problem. You should be able to get naturally aspirated on this 200.
Yeah. So our goal was to use your case. And that was, Justin recommended, running your case. But can you explain to me and to the customer why we would want to run that case?
Well, because on your case, right in here, see this part here, right in here on your primary side?
Yeah.
Your stator side? extra thick there. We rivet all the way around, so it gives more strength to it. OEM cases we're cracking right across there.
Okay.
All right. Your scraper set up here is close to your flywheel, so it actually works as the flywheel goes around, grabs the oil. You have a bigger windage tray, and it drains much better here. And see this part of your engine case here too. All right, OEM cases. They have this is one big solid piece of casting. So the oil backs up behind it, and it gets caught. So we sliced it on both sides, and it drains right down into the windage tray. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a case that's already set for big bore, which is, which is $4,695. The whole will be $4,695 here. We moved back your piston jets back 60 thousandths, so you have room there. Your crossover, you're not going to run into anything here with your bolt here, and your return feeds out of here are pushed back too, so you won't run into any of the issues. And when these guys are going with the big bore, they're cutting into these here, and they were having to put push rod tubes in because they were cutting through the returns. These cases weigh 9 pounds heavier than a stock OEM case.
A lot more material.
A lot more material.
Yeah.
I got guys like Brooks Cycle Service down in North Carolina. 450 horsepower on my engine cases.
Holy crap.
Yeah, he's running 130 inch, 30 pounds of boost in it on methanol.
Jeez.
Yes.
That's crazy.
He did a 762 and a quarter at 192.
Wow.
So, yeah, all the guys that are racing are using my engine cases.
Okay. So for the end user that wants a reliable high horsepower build,
absolutely, without a doubt, there's nothing. You're not going to get a better engine case. T-Man uses them. Mike at A1 uses them.
Yeah.
Brooks Cycle Service uses them. They are very popular right now as far as big horsepower engines are going.
What about the crank? So I have another customer. We did a 132, and he made great numbers. He made 158, 129, and we want to. And he didn't do heads. We just left stock heads. Now we want to split the case, put a crank, and then do some heads on it as well. But he wants to do gear drive. So my question is, if we do your crank, are they already like trued and balanced?
They're already trued, balanced, and now you can buy them because the market pushed it. We didn't used to before. We sell them welded.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Matter of fact, right here. This is an M8 crank right here. So we have separate part numbers. And again, it was market driven, not that we had any issues with ours.
Yeah.
Because we're running 200 horse through our cranks non-welded, but people want welded, so we have part numbers for welded cranks.
Okay.
Both with the full width rods and with the tapered rods.
That's awesome. Well, cool.
Yeah, I got a whole shell sheet over there. I'll give you so you can see it all. See that either, it's way in there. My oil pump has 2 scavenge gears. So one scavenging the engine case, one scavenging your cam chest. So, and they're separated. So what happens is, got one, OEM or other companies, are making one gear to try to scavenge 2 areas. And it just can't, lots of times it cannot handle the amount of oil that's moving through it. On our cam plates, the biggest thing is, it's all billet, and the newest cam plate that will be coming forward. Will work both for, non-VVT and VVT Oh. We have bronze bushings in these. Now, the biggest thing is you're not going to be able to run them anything over 4,000 run out.
Okay.
So, but they're billet. They any kind of cast pump, cast plate, or anything. They have a tendency of not being flat, straight, perfect. With these don't change at all. You got the bushings in there, and you got your oil feed up top to help with change it. So again, you can run this both on like a 2017 or a 2026 VVT bike.
So the way that I would tell people why they still need it is, like, on the earlier models, definitely because they had issues with them.
You didn't. In the early ones, they didn't have the seal on the back of the pump.
Yeah, and then I'd tell them, like, obviously Harley's on there, like 9th, 10th, probably 11th rendition of them now.
Again.
But they also make a Screaming Eagle one for a good reason, because they know they can be better. So
right, exactly, and they actually took from us because they use an 8-lug gears.
Yeah.
We were the first ones to come up with that.
So what would they benefit? What would the customer benefit from going with yours over the OE on their newer, like 23 and up that have or even 22 and up that already have?
Still have, the plates are just fine. I mean, and I'm not going to deny that the plates are not bad for what they have. But again, on mine, you're using both VVT and regular non-VVT, but it's the oil pump where you're using. I have magnets on my oil pump. I have pickup screens there too. So say something scatters in the engine, I have screens in the oil pump that actually catch the material before it gets back into the gears of the oil pump.
Oh.
So you got that, and I have the 3 rotor gears. I have your feed and two return gears, which has a separator plate between the 2 gears. So you feed, one's strictly for the cam chest, and one is strictly for the flywheel cavity to pull oil out.
So for someone who doesn't want to do that cam plate, still recommend them the oil pump?
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we're going to go chat with Feuling. And on our earlier baggers, you guys have heard Luke and I talk a lot about the cam chest failures on the older models where they just fail and the springs kind of explode. So let's get some good insight from the people over at Feuling. That's who we recommend when we do it. So let's chat with them and see what they have to say.
Background, or
Yeah, that's fine. So a lot of our customers,
we're talking twin cam, Milwaukee 8.
right now twin cam, but we do like primarily what we have been using a lot is the twin cam conversion kits.
Okay.
Just because they're getting older, and every time we see like an 03 or any of the earlier models, where we see the mileage, we're like, all right, it's gonna blow up and you need to do this. So if you can kind of touch on why that's important.
Over, I guess I can talk, and then I can also show some parts. Is that enough microphone?
Yeah, this gets everything.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, what's the difference between using the stock one, the stock cam? Can they use it in the stock cam plate? And what would you recommend for some of those earlier models that maybe want to keep the longevity of the motor and don't want to go crazy with a cam, but also want to just get maybe a little bit more since they're in there?
Okay. Well, I guess to introduce myself, Luke Leatherman with Feuling Parts. Alex has asked some questions on, specific to the early twin cam models. And I'm going to say that that's kind of our bread and butter business, because we were the first ones out there in the aftermarket that had complete kits to where that you could do everything under one part number, and really focusing on doing the upgrade from the early style mechanical tensioners. Those are the spring tensioners. We're going 99 to 05, 06. And they're very problematic. And
a couple of ways. But anyways, we have the upgrade that is going to get you the hydraulic tensioner set up all under one part number. We have a couple of options where we have our OE Plus, our HP Plus, and our Race Series components. And we like to say compare that to good, better, and best. OE Plus is a great stock replacement to mild performance. And then once you start to get into, say, the bigger lift camshafts, a little bit more performance builds, our HP Plus and Race Series is the direction that you should look. But there's a couple reasons why the original mechanical tensioners are problematic. One, they have very heavy springs on them, which are needed because they have the bigger, what's called the silent chain. So there's a pretty big weight difference from the original silent chain to the roller chains. And just to look at here, this is a kit that would reuse the factory camshafts and or the early style camshafts. And you can see just the width difference. This is the newer style roller chain, and this is the silent chain. Just due to the nature of the size and the weight, it needs extra spring pressure on it, which is why the original factory had those heavy duty, mechanical spring tensioners. That with this kit, this is our OE Plus version here, is replaced by the hydraulic units. We also include the updated sprockets to get you to the new style roller. There's two options, or there's multiple options when you come to the early twin cams. This one here is set up so that you would reuse your factory camshafts, and or I know there's a lot of early twin cam models out there that have already had upgraded cams put in them, but they're still the original style. So this would be the package for that. We also sell conversion camshafts, along with a couple of the other camshaft manufacturers out there. And then if you had conversion cams, which would be our recommendation, if you're going to change camshafts and you're working on one of the early twin cam models, go to the conversion setup, and then you're installing the engine just like you would a 2017 twin cam engine. So you got kind of the latest and greatest of the twin cam. And then something else to really take into consideration on the early twin cams is the cylinder head breathers. And this is something that we sell, but we highly advise anybody that's working on an early twin cam to get in and service the breathers. And that, of course, is an opportunity to go in and update the breathers if you want, but nonetheless, you should really look at servicing the breathers because the umbrella valves get extremely crusty on the just plain the age and the heat cycles that they've been through. So to replace the umbrella valve, and then also to put a new filter element in it. And I guess this also brings light on, what to use for push rods. We're firm believers in using one-piece push rods. They're more rigid. You're going to get more cam lift with them, and you're going to get a quieter valve train with one-piece push rods than you are adjustables. But, if that's something to, really add on to the build is to look at the cylinder head breathers.
Perfect. Thank you. I also had a question too. So on because we do a lot of M8, just like cam upgrades, and on the early 17 to 20-year models, it was really easy and common to sell a new oil pump and cam support plate just because they weren't the best but combating that with the newer ones that customers, Harley has made a lot of advancements, and why should someone with a 2022 replace their cam plate when they're doing one of your cams?
All right. Well, one thing that we can kind of walk into, I don't have factory components here, with me, but we just released what we're calling our OE Plus version oil pump for the Milwaukee 8. Okay. Kind of going back to that good, better, and best, right? So we have OE Plus right here, HP Plus, and then our Race Series. And what you can see right out of the gate here is the size difference. And the reason we're calling this the OE Plus is because it works with the factory cam plate. And in order to work with the factory cam plate, we have to use these smaller gears in order to get the galleys of the gears to line up with the kidney shapes on the cam plate. And what I reference as the kidney shapes are the oil passages that are actually on the cam plate. And so you have a much smaller gear set and you have a much more restricted cam plate with the factory components. Do you see the issues with the later model Milwaukee 8s that you saw in the early ones with the oiling system? No, but however, you can take a look at this and the size difference of the oil passages. Our oiling systems, when we're talking the HP Plus and Race Series, are going to move much more oil volume through the engine. And the benefit of that is you're going to see cooler engine temperatures, cooler cylinder head temperatures, cooler engine temperatures throughout, and also cooler oil temperatures.
All right, there's a row of some really exciting stuff. We've got S&S, Para, Custom Dynamics. Let's check them out.
I've been saying this a lot lately, and I've been calling it today the secret recipe for foam.
Yeah.
We came up with a density of foam, which is probably, I don't even know the chemistry of it.
Yeah.
But back in the day, so the foam it's two components, A and a B side.
Yeah.
And depending on how you do the recipe is how the foam's going to feel. So in all the seats that aren't ours that I've ever taken apart, it has a feeling of just foam. Ours is different. So back in the day when we used to make a lot of bare bones solos and silhouettes, low profile seats, our seats were pretty firm because they had to be, because there just wasn't a lot of foam. But with the kick flips and the tail whips and the Mavericks, there's a lot of foam there. So we turn the density, the amount of foam going into the molds down. So you got this crazy, supportive, springy foam that is like the best of all worlds in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And the recipe that we've used forever is just kind of evolved into the amount we put into the molds. And it kicks ass. It's just, it is still supportive and it still is springy, but it does give. I mean, you could feel it here on the Mavericks.
Yeah.
And again, filling it with the cover because there's glue and there's everything else, and that will break in. But the foam underneath has got this amazing way of rebounding, but still feeling softer than a lot of others.
How many miles would you take to break one of those?
Have you ridden
typically? I have a Lepera, or I had one on my last bike.
Yeah. So we would say what you're getting, you just, whether you get used to it or not, but we've just, the formula and the way it is, you can sit on ours back to back and you just feel the difference. With our seats in the break-in period, when you feel our seats, the way it feels will last.
We don't have a lot of battery left, but we're going to check out some of these Slyfox booths. Ooh, they got a king chair, look at that.
Is that a GoPro? What is that? He doesn't want to be famous.
Too late.
Steering stabilizer? Sick. They didn't nip the zip ties.
Oh, I wonder when they're going to release that.
The Buell? Yeah.
That thing's sick.
High noon, baby.
Does it got gel in it?
This one does not.
Nice.
What's it smell like?
Yeah, what does it smell like, Rudy?
Yeah,
Street pop?
Yeah, Slyfox King.